Look at this teacher, working late by the glow of a laptop. When she types a search term into Google Images, saves a picture, and pastes it onto a worksheet, she is making a legal decision. Most images on the open web are covered by copyright. Schools often assume that educational fair use under Section 107 of the U.S. Copyright Act protects them, but that protection is strictly limited. Using downloaded photos for weekly worksheets, slide decks, or parent newsletters sits in a legal gray zone. Because of this, schools receive DMCA takedown notices, and some have paid expensive retroactive licensing fees. For a Christian school, this is an issue of integrity. Taking an image without holding the proper license contradicts the values taught in the classroom. True stewardship requires an honest workflow for school materials. Adobe Firefly solves this problem by bypassing the scraped web entirely. Adobe trained this generative AI exclusively on Adobe stock, openly licensed content, and public domain material. Because of that closed training model, every image you generate in Firefly carries Adobe's explicit commercial rights license. You can place these generated images on your handouts, presentations, and websites with zero copyright exposure. An ethical classroom requires an ethical workflow. Adopting a legally safe generative tool protects the institution while returning hours of lost time to the educator. The setup process is simple. You can go to firefly.adobe.com to create a free account, or check with your IT department to log in through your school's existing Creative Cloud for Education license. This diagram shows the 5-part prompt formula to guarantee a highly specific image. First, the subject and student description. Diverse middle school students conducting a chemistry experiment. Next, setting and style. School laboratory bench, photorealistic. Finally, specific elements. Safety goggles on, one student writing observations. When you string those pieces together, activity, student description, setting, style, and specific elements, you create a complete directive. Firefly uses that specific text to build a custom middle school science graphic that fits your exact lesson. There are strict limitations to note. Firefly will produce garbled text, cannot generate recognizable real people, and struggles with complex diagrams. But by adhering to this specific formula for standard visuals, you eliminate the frustration of trial and error. You get a high-quality, classroom-ready image in under 90 seconds. To measure the impact of this new workflow, we can compare standard image searches directly against Firefly's output. Here is a split-screen comparison. On the left, a teacher spent 12 minutes hunting for an image and settled for dated clip art. On the right, a 90-second prompt created a vibrant, warm, photorealistic autumn campus exterior with zero copyright risk. For history classes, the approach requires nuance. Generative AI should never replace primary source historical photographs or actual historical paintings. Instead, Firefly replaces the generic filler, the photos of students working that currently sit next to those primary sources on your activity slides. Look at this generated video of diverse students analyzing an antique map together. You can rapidly create dynamic scenes like this to show classroom activities. Swapping out legally dubious clip art for vibrant, custom-generated imagery instantly elevates the professional standard of all school communications. Once you generate these images, you need an organization system so you never have to start a search from scratch again. Set up a consistent folder structure on your computer or cloud drive. Categorize your new assets strictly by subject matter and document type, using folders like Science, Literacy, or Newsletters. This text document is a prompt log. Copy successful formulas here. Over time, this transforms into a centralized database. When shared across your department, one person's 90-second effort flows out to the rest of the staff, creating a school-wide asset. A time audit reveals the practical value. The current workflow costs educators 4 to 6 hours a month hunting for images. Generating and organizing in Firefly drops that to about 45 minutes. Standardizing this shared system improves the visual aesthetics of your materials, while buying back hours of time for actual lesson planning. If you already use design tools like Canva, you can easily use Firefly alongside them. Adobe is worth incorporating specifically because it provides an explicit license badge for commercial rights. You can verify this workflow today with a 3-step challenge. Step 1. Log in to the platform. Step 2. Pick one lesson material you need for tomorrow. Step 3. Generate one image using the 5-part formula. Look at this educator confidently closing her laptop. This is the goal of the workflow, finishing your preparation with exactly the image you need, knowing exactly where it came from. Adopting this tool permanently ends copyright anxiety, empowering you to match the visual quality of your materials with the integrity of your teaching.